It's 6:30, and I want to welcome everyone to the regular meeting of the Columbus City Council. It's May 18th, 2021, and tonight Deputy Clerk Jane Foodie is going to call the roll.
Albright. Here.
Arnold,
Here.
Gray,
Present.
McCabe. Here. Motive. Here. Pifferone.
Here.
Reed.
Here. Okay, everyone is here, and if you are able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight's meeting has been noticed in accordance with state statutes and local ordinances. And now I'm looking for a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I will approve tonight's agenda.
Gray will second.
So thank you. Alder Pifferone has moved, and Alder Gray has seconded to approve tonight's agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on to correspondence, communications, and we do have one person has signed up to speak. So Al, can you give your name and address, please? There you go.
Thank you, Alan Stroshine, 620 Park Avenue, Columbus, Wisconsin. Here once again on behalf of the 4th of July Committee. I see that you're on the agenda, early on the agenda. We hope that we can have a rich, successful, welcoming event for the city of Columbus this year. I note that the Red Bud Days, I met Mayor Arnold at the Red Bud Prince and Princess event, and it was a very beautiful day that day. We hope for good weather. We hope for volunteers, those of you out in the audience. If you have any time, it's a weekend this year. 4th of July is on a Sunday, so the parade will be on a Sunday. That's sometimes difficult to get people volunteering for setting up for the parade and takedown, and especially for people out at the park. And it'll be an event that'll start on June 30th and go through that Sunday, the 4th. If you have any questions, please ask them now. I'm here on behalf of Torrey Weideman. He's our president. He couldn't be here tonight, but we have your typical 4th of July celebration planned with fireworks in the evening on the 4th. I've been in this community 41 years, and I think this is the one event that Columbus sponsors, hosts, and really gets behind, and all aspects. It moves from young to old, all political persuasions. Everybody gets behind the 4th of July in Columbus. So I hope that you approve the items on the agenda this evening. Thank you.
Just one question for you, Al.
Sure.
If someone did want to volunteer, is it pretty easy for them to find out where to go to sign up?
Columbus 4th of July, Paul, the 4th of July website. If you've got, and then thank you for asking that question. Yes, the 4th of July website, and also for the parade. My wife asked tonight when I was at home about the, our office sponsors the St. Catherine Drexel Band, and you can go on the website, find your application for a float, a band, any other a professional organization, a musical group. We're always looking for good quality musical groups of various gospel quartets, church organizations, violin players, cloggers, any, school bands, just you name it. We like to have a varied musical presence. But yes, go to the 4th of July website, Columbus 4th of July.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, now we're moving down to the consent agenda. I do want to make myself one spelling correction in the minutes from May 4th. Under new business, the 2021 citizen appointees. for the library board, Deb Hafner's last name is actually spelled HaeFFners, so just substitute an A for the O. So with that correction in mind, I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I approve the consent agenda with the correction. Someday I'll remember, I promise. I approve the consent agenda with the correction.
Do we have a second?
Reed seconds.
Thank you. We have a a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion?
I
Although-
am going to abstain from this vote.
Okay, all right. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Okay. So we're going to move on to new business, and the first order of new business tonight is to ratify appointments, the mayoral appointments to boards, committees, and commissions. These are the ones that are, have come in since our last meeting, when we did approve some of the appointees at that time. Can I get a motion to approve these appointments? Oh, you might need a minute to look at them, because I think you just got some of this information tonight. Is that right? Okay. Okay, so when you're ready.
Alder Gray will move to ratify the mayoral appointments to boards, committees, and commissions.
I will second that.
Thank you. It has been moved and seconded to approve the appointments to these boards, committees, and commissions. Is there any discussion? So all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, motion passes. Our next order of business is to consider and take action on face coverings in city-owned buildings and facilities. This policy was put into place to protect the health of city staff and visitors to other city buildings as we made our way through the pandemic. This was discussed at our last meeting. I feel it should be noted that just recently, I think within the last week, the Center for Disease Control has altered its position on face coverings and is now saying it is safe for fully vaccinated people, which means you've had both vaccinations and it's been at least 2 weeks since your second one, I believe, to be in the company of other fully vaccinated people without the need for face coverings, and this would be both inside and outside. So things are a little different than they were the last time we met and discussed this. I wonder if before we make a motion, we move into some discussion on this item. Is anyone interested in talking about this issue? Alder Gray.
So personally, I don't see the need to remove the emergency order entirely. I think it would be easy to just add, so if we look at section 2, or item number 2, face covering required, and then under 3, the exceptions, if we just added another exception to fully vaccinated people are not required to wear face coverings, because we have exceptions for individuals with trouble breathing, individuals with medical conditions, et cetera, we could easily just add individuals who are fully vaccinated. And that would keep us in an emergency order. It would keep us qualifying for anything that may or may not come up in the future, and it would cover all the bases. I think by now a large portion of us are fully vaccinated, but when we look at like the age group 12 to 15, that only just opened up. Absolutely none of them are vaccinated, fully at least. I think we should give them time and more people time to be able to become fully vaccinated. And this would just give people more reason to get vaccinated.
Alder Albright, would you like to?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that, Dane County has decided to let their emergency order expire, and Columbia County, I'm not quite even sure if they had an emergency order this year at all, and I just wanted to make note that I think that, I'm not quite sure, and I know we asked Kyle this last time, if we needed to have an emergency order in place to be able to qualify for something, you could do it at that time, correct?
It would depend on the specific program. I think typically, if we were going by like a flood, you can't later on declare an emergency for something that happened previously, but it's really uncharted territory in this, so I can't really say for certain whether we'd be eligible or not. It would depend on the program and the legislation.
Okay. I just think that since Dane County especially just announced that they're letting theirs lapse, I'm not quite sure, and most of us that work in Dane County will probably be going back to work shortly, so.
Thank you, Shelley. Alder Motif?
I have a question. I noted that there are some employees who don't feel they have enough PPE. Would you need a certain amount of time for those employees to feel comfortable?
So we do have supplies kind of inbound already, some HEPA filters to help with improving the air quality. We've asked about the barriers. We're not really set up well for the smaller plexiglass barriers. And I've made the request to all department heads and to several employees that if there's something they think they need, to let us know, because we have a lot of flexibility to try to make this happen, if it's based in sort of a COVID concern. And I haven't been contacted by anyone, based on the results of some of the surveys that we've kind of done internally. One person had some comments that they added, but then we had just one no context, no, indicating that they did not feel safe in the work environment with the materials they had available. So I'm going to make another push tomorrow at the department head meeting to make sure that anyone that has concerns either lets their department head know or comes back to me and makes a request. And anything that's reasonable and achievable, I think we'll be able to accommodate, given just a little bit of time. But again, we do have those air filters and HEPA filtering capabilities already kind of in progress.
So if this gets approved for no face coverings, do you want, would you like to see a certain amount of time for it to start, just so you can protect those few people?
If the desire of the council would be to, make sure that we've exhausted every last opportunity to make sure employees understand that they have the right to request reasonable accommodations and protections, and that we're really willing to help in that regard. I think some very short amount of time should give us that capability. I mean, we're not that large of an organization, and if they haven't gotten that message yet, maybe one more push in a couple more days will make sure everyone has every last opportunity. But we have been, making those improvements and making it known that there's protections that we're willing to provide.
Alder Reed?
Just to chime in, was at the library board meeting earlier today, and the library is currently planning on keeping masks whether or not the city chooses otherwise, basically to match with the school system and to protect the younger constituents. They're hoping to start having some meeting rooms open and tutoring and, group programming for the youth in person. So they're very concerned with the idea of there not being any masking in place.
And my understanding would be that anybody who wanted to wear a mask would certainly should certainly feel free to do that. And I think we understand that the library is maybe a different situation than City Hall because of the young people who go there. Do you think that if indeed action was taken tonight that said fully vaccinated people were no longer required to wear masks, would the library feel comfortable knowing that they could, anyone who went in would still be welcome to wear a mask if they felt comfortable doing that, or would there still be concerns?
There would still be concerns. Because it's different than, not a customer, but individual coming into City Hall for short-term business. It's groups together for hours and close contact, so it's just a slightly different animal.
So it is, yeah, it is a different situation for the library then. That's an interesting point. Ian?
I would just like to point out, if the emergency order stays in place, it covers all bases. If we just add in the verbiage that if you're fully vaccinated, you're not required to wear a mask, that in effect takes the face recovering requirement down for the vast majority of people. This, I want to remind people, this is only in the city government buildings. This does not affect the vast majority of our constituents in any way imaginable. And at least probably 40% or more of them that it does affect are vaccinated and will be able to remove their masks. Like, there is no reason, no logical, sound reason to take this down. If you just stop playing politics and think about it logically, there's no reason to take it down. Just include the verbiage, if you're fully vaccinated, you're not required. That protects the library, it protects the kids, it protects everyone. Stop playing politics.
Well, would it protect the kids at the library, though, since they can't be vaccinated yet? So
They would still be required to wear a mask if they're not vaccinated, so yes.
Oh, okay, so I see what you're saying. I got that, okay. And what do you think about that, Trina, because you brought that concern
Oh,
up?
thank you. I like Ian's suggestion of just adding that simple verbiage. People will be on their honor, but I think that's probably the best route.
Would anybody else on council like to jump in? Okay. So I guess I'm looking for a motion.
So Alder Gray will move to include under Part 3 exceptions, Section B, to include the verbiage, individuals who are fully vaccinated.
Motive seconds.
So it has been moved by Alder Gray and seconded by Alder Motif to add a, well, is there a B? Oh, I'm sorry. There is a B. I just didn't turn it over. To add under exceptions B, individuals who are fully vaccinated. Does that sum it up the way? Okay. Any more discussion on this motion? In that case, all those who are in favor, would you please signify by saying aye?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed?
No.
So, Paul, you are opposed? Okay. I wonder if, should we do a roll call on this perhaps, since it's rather significant? Okay, let's do one.
Gray?
Aye.
McCabe?
Aye.
Motive? Aye. Piperl?
No.
Reed? Aye.
And Albright.
Aye.
Well, thank you for your work on that. And we can now move on to item number 3 on new business. Consider and take action on the 2-year repayment agreement for the Columbus Police Department.
Good evening. I'll just provide a real short summary of what we've talked about previously. We've been using repayment agreements for several years with newly sworn staff to prevent short-term employees and potentially to recoup some of our costs to hire, train, and uniform officers. And we recently learned through an employee that resigned that had signed an agreement. Upon review of the city's labor attorney, he didn't like the wording of what we were using and said it was probably not the best format to use. So the document that you have in front of you, the templated form or the agreement was written by the city's labor attorney and approved by him. And there'll be some areas that we'll have to fill in the blanks, which will be unique to each employee depending on their circumstances. For them to pay the city $2,000 if they leave within 2 years of employment. During that 2-year period, as you note in the document, the amounts are graduated as the longer you're here, the less you have to pay back. But our goal with this is twofold, to retain employees and to let them dig their heels in the ground and want to make this a place they want to work for a while. And then secondly, to protect taxpayer money. It's very expensive to hire and train any new employee, but the uniforms and the equipment alone for the officers are extremely expensive. What you see here, opposed to the first meeting that we talked about, it has been tweaked to be the final draft. The labor attorney has recommended that it either be affirmed by the council, each contract or agreement be affirmed by the council, or the city administrator and the city clerk. And not necessarily have me involved. It's an agreement with the employee in the city and not the agreement in the chief of police. So as you see on page 2 of the form, it's to be approved and reviewed by City Administrator Ellefson and also signed for by the city clerk, and then will be filed. So there's really been no change to what you initially saw other than adding the fields of who's going to approve and who's going to be involved with it. The contents are exactly the same as how the labor attorney wrote it.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Okay. Well, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
So I am looking for a motion to take action on the 2-year repayment agreement for the Columbus Police Department.
I will make a motion to approve the 2-year repayment agreement for the Columbus Police Department.
Reed seconds.
It has been moved and seconded to take action on the 2-year repayment agreement agreement for the Columbus Police Department to approve this agreement. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, thank you. Passes. The next item on the agenda is consider and take action on the purchase of a UTV. That means utility, what is it? Utility terrain vehicle. Thank you. I have to get my little initials correct. With attachments for the wastewater treatment plan.
Hi.
Hi.
We can review the agenda item for the UTV. We have requested a UTV that has been in the budget for 2021. It came in, the one that we were requesting was from Ritchie's, the Polaris. Sorry, I have everything upside down. The Polaris, sorry, my apologies. Polaris Ranger, 1,000 EPS. It comes in under the budgeted amount of $25,000. For an update for this meeting, I got the warranty information for both the Polaris and the John Deere Gator. Both have equally the same about warranty, 1-year factory warranties. So they came in pretty close to each other. And then the other, I made sure that as the prices are increasing very quickly on these, the price for these items have remained the same through the month of May. So my request is that we approve, or you all approve. Hopefully the Gator, or the Polaris from Ritchie's.
Does anyone have any questions on this item? Oh, Paul, go ahead.
I guess I do have one question. I'm sorry. I see unlimited miles for Polaris, and I see unlimited, or 1,000 hours. So, and it.
Right.
They don't really go by miles, do they, personally?
No, I
So-
think it's by hours, and that was unlimited for Polaris, but it was 1,000 hours for the John Deere.
Right, okay, but I'm just saying it says miles, and I'm just like,
Oh. Yeah, so that, I guess the Polaris does say unlimited miles. I copied and pasted it right from the, so they have unlimited miles for that 1 year. So you can get it as unlimited, or, you know.
so is that unlimited hours then, you think?
No, it's, I
okay.
copied and
Okay.
pasted it right
Okay.
from the website, so
Okay.
it is miles.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else have any questions? Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. And now I'm looking for a motion to take action on the purchase of a UTV with attachments for the wastewater treatment plant.
Alder Gray moves to approve the purchase of the 2021 Polaris Ranger 1000 EPS from Ritchie's and all the attachments mentioned for the total price of $21,354.10.
I will second that motion.
It has been moved by Alder Gray and seconded by Alder Pifferone to approve the request of the purchase of the 2021 Polaris Ranger and the attachments. Any more discussion? I think we need to do a roll call on this one then.
Aye.
McCabe. Motive.
Aye.
Pifferone.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Albright.
Aye.
Okay, that motion passes. And I guess we're going to be hearing from Chief Weiner again about the updated job description for the police sergeant.
Okay, what you have in front of you as part of your packet is the revised job description for the position of the sergeant. With the resignation of the sergeant a short time ago, it was an opportunity to revisit and review the job description. It was written not completely reflective of the duties and how we utilize that position, so I made some changes to it to make it more conducive to exactly what he or she does. About 80 to 85% of this, what you see, is what was originally in here. I just made some tweaks, I removed some things, I added some things, nothing substantial, but I wanted to make sure that the sergeant is reflected in our department as a working patrol officer with some first-level supervisory responsibilities, and not per se a member of management, and has more deeper management duties, which was reflected in the previous job description. And that's been it. It's not an A to Z rewrite, it's just some tweak and some removals and some minor additions. And then upon approval of this, hopefully tomorrow I can get the position posted and try to get our staff back to where we need to be.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Chief Weiner? Okay,
All right, thank you again.
thank you. So I am looking for a motion to consider and take action on the updated police sergeant's position description.
Reed motions to accept the updated police sergeant position dated May 18th, 2021.
I will second that.
So it has been moved and seconded to approve the updated police sergeant's position description. All those in favor?
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Okay. So the next item on the agenda is a claim against the city. Property owner Kelsey Bortz filed a claim against the city in the amount of $312,800, and I'm looking for a motion to disallow the claim.
Alder Gray moves to disallow the claim filed by Kelly Bortz dated April 8th, 2021, in the amount of $312,800.
Alder Motive will second.
We've had a motion and a second. I just want to say it's Kelsey.
Oh, did I say?
You said Kelly, I think.
sorry.
Sometimes with the masks, it's hard to tell, but,
thought I said
okay, sorry. Is there any discussion? So it has been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please, well, we'll do a roll call. Yep.
Motive,
Aye.
Pifferle,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Albright. Gray.
Okay. The next item on the agenda, we need to consider and take action on a raise order for the building located at 428 River Road in the city. And I am looking for a motion to issue a raise order for the building for the reasons that are outlined in your packet.
Alder Motive will make a motion to take action on, or to approve the raise order for a building located at 428 River Road.
Motion, so I'll second it.
So it has been moved by Alder Motif and seconded by Alder Gray to take action on the raise order, to approve the raise order for the building located at 428 River Road in the city of Columbus, and we'll do a roll call on this one too, please. Oh, well, first of all, is there any discussion? Okay. Roll call on this one then.
Motive,
Aye.
Pifferle,
Aye.
Reed,
Nay at this time.
nay. Albright,
Aye.
Gray. McCabe.
Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is to consider and take action on claims in the amount of $109,999.35.
I will make a motion to approve the claims through May 11th, 2021 in the amount read.
Gray seconds.
Thank you. It has been moved by Alder Pifferone, seconded by Alder Gray, to approve the monthly claims through May 11th, 2021. And we'll do a roll call on this also.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Albright.
Aye.
Gray.
Aye.
McCabe. Motive.
Aye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And now we're going to move on to reports of city officers. So we'll start with the city administrator.
Thank you. Couple things this evening. Update on the finance director recruitment. We did complete that about a week or so ago. Did have several qualified candidates, and interviews will be held next week. So we're excited to see what that brings, but one step closer to filling that position. Public Works Director, the recruitment period, the initial recruitment period ended last night. We didn't get a very large recruitment, which is kind of standard for Public Works Directors. It's a tough field across the state. So we did get a number of applicants that have experience, so we're going to be fully screening those applicants and trying to come up with a list of people that would qualify for an interview. But at the same time, we're keeping the position open for new applications. So if people miss the deadline, they're still free to apply up until the point, essentially, that we find the candidate that we select for the position. So if anyone did miss it, they're still encouraged to apply, and we will kind of incorporate them as they come in. Hibbert Street project, that's one we haven't talked about for a while. Now that spring has officially sprung, we're almost to summer, it feels like at some points. We were out there, the city, the contractor and the engineer, we walked the project on Friday. to look at any of the checklist and outstanding concern items. We'll be working on the issues that we identified, and there'll be one more walkthrough this fall before the warranty period ends. If you are hearing any concerns out there that haven't already been brought to the city's attention, encourage them to report those to myself or to the Public Works Department so we can make sure that they get evaluated and fixed if necessary. We talked previously about the vandalism that we've been seeing. It's not maybe increased, but it's continuing. Kiwanis Park in particular has been damaged several times. So we're really just continuing to encourage people to keep an eye out. Anything that seems abnormal or unusual, please let somebody know. We are also offering a reward if you can provide information that leads to identifying the person responsible. There is a reward out there. So, there's something of value, and we're spending a significant amount of time and money with all the continued repairs. So just encouraging people to help us keep the parks enjoyable for everybody. And that's all I had.
Thank you so much. We have almost filled all of the citizen representative vacancies on the various city committees and boards and commissions, and I want to thank everybody who volunteered. I also want to acknowledge the Columbus Chamber of Commerce, which did a great job once again with Redbud Days. We couldn't have asked for a better day. My gosh, it was just so beautiful. The redbuds and the flowering trees all around town were just perfect. I want to thank everybody who volunteered, who came down to listen to the music or enjoy the craft fair and the food, or to shop for used books at the Friends of the Library bookstore. And I want to put in a little plug for the Columbus Historical Museum, which is right on East James Street, downtown. If you haven't stopped by lately, they were also open. And if you're interested in Columbus history, I highly recommend it. If you're a graduate of Columbus High School, you can go and sign the big old Charlie Cardinal, and I highly recommend that too. The Farmers Market returns tomorrow. Yay, we're all happy about that. 3 to 6, they are in a new location at 150 North Ludington Street downtown, which I believe is kind of across from the town tap. Is that right? The old Anchor Bank. The old Anchor Bank. Thank you, Joe. Yeah. So we're really glad to have them back. They have many of the same vendors from last year are going to be coming this time. I know a couple of them can't make it tomorrow, but will be coming in the future. So put that on your calendar. Shelley mentioned that she saw me on Facebook. Some of you know Kelly Crumby, former mayor of Columbus, owns a ice cream drive-in burger place, probably the best burger around, called Mullins. And he called me up and invited me as the current mayor to come down and to partake of the very first ice cream cone of the season. So I officially helped open Mullins today. My daughter worked for him for the last 3 years, and it always seems to rain on opening day. I hope I didn't jinx it. Kelly also pledged to donate a nice sum to a local cause of my choosing. So I want to thank Kelly. He's a real cheerleader for Columbus. It was very delicious. It is Public Works Week, May 16th through the 22nd, and we have a proclamation. I want to thank everybody in our Columbus Public Works Department who, of course, keep our streets plowed. They cut down our dead trees. They plant new ones, and in general, they help keep our city running very smoothly. I'll read the first paragraph, or the second one, actually. Whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. We resolve that you guys are great, and we really are grateful for you. Amtrak, we had we had a meeting last week. Some of you may remember that we used to have twice daily Amtrak service through Columbus, going from Chicago to Seattle, or else the other way out, well, they went out east, they went out west, anyway. Columbus was on the map for that. Those trips were cut down to 3 days a week. We have found out that they are going to go back to their daily trips through Columbus starting May 24th, right? Yeah. I wrote it down, but now I can't find it. Anyway, yeah. So last week, the city administrator and the planning director, Matt Schreiber, and I Zoomed with an Amtrak representative about some plans that are in the works to add a loop from Chicago through Columbus, Milwaukee, the Twin Cities, and back. And they would, be stopping at Columbus. And it was, I thought, a very positive connection with the Amtrak representative, who said they're not, well, his words were something along the lines of we're interested in adding rather than subtracting. I know there's been some concern that, with some of the other plans in the works, that we might lose out if all goes well. It sounds like not only is that not going to happen, but we will be having increased Amtrak traffic through our city, which I think could be a real boon for city businesses, for restaurants and shopping. We will know more, I think, by the fall. Did you get that feeling?
Yeah, I think they're probably the closest now that they've been to getting this, I believe it's the TCMC, sort of fully put together. There's still some moving pieces in other states, and I think fall was sort of a hopeful that we'll be getting some resolution.
Right. So that's, I think that's it for me for tonight. Let me just make sure, because I thought I had one more page here. Nah, I guess that's probably it. I think I covered everything I was going to cover. So anybody else in the city want to report on anything, or is that it? Okay. In that case, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Albright will second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Meeting is adjourned.
Good evening, and welcome to the Columbus Common Council Committee of the Whole. I have 7:20. The meeting was properly noticed, and if Jane could take roll call for us.
Albright. Arnold. Gray.
Present?
McCabe. Moda.
Here.
Typhron.
Here.
Awesome. So, next up on the agenda is to approve the agenda. I just have one alteration to move agenda item number 17 up to be agenda item number 6. That is the review and discuss bids to remove the ash trees for the DNR forestry grant.
I will make a motion to approve the agenda with moving 17 up to number 6.
Alder Moda will second.
Perfect. We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda with one alteration. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Perfect. Agenda is approved. Next up is citizen comments. Do we have anyone signed up? No. All right. Doesn't look like we have anyone out in Zoom land calling out. Then we will move on to department reports as number 5. So in our packets, we have the finance report, the DPW, the fire department, the library, Lifestar, and police. Is there any questions or comments? Okay, perfect. Then with that, let's move on to, item number newly 6. Let's review and discuss bids to remove the ash trees for the DNR forestry grant. And we have Jenny here to discuss that with us, sorry. Go ahead.
So we got a grant from the urban forestry grant to help remove ash trees within the city of Columbus. And the total of the grant is over $52,000. And out of that, we have about $40,000 to remove ash trees within the city of Columbus. So that is budgeted out of our funding, which we basically have to put forth the funding first, and then we get reimbursed at the end of our project. As you can see in your packet, there is a list. If you guys print it out in color, hopefully that's in color. That'd be the list that has the red on it, and it totals out to about just shy of $39,000. The reason it doesn't quite come to 40 is obviously with trees, they do grow. So, and when they measure our trees, they do it by diameter of the tree. So we always have to leave a little buffer zone, because if the tree was measured, last fall at, let's say, 22 inches, it could be a 23-inch tree, at the time of the cutting or the grinding of the stump. So what we are proposing is to go with K&B, to remove the selected ash trees that are on that list that is considered Exhibit B, that are listed there. The list that is selected is from the ones that are the worst and ones that we have had complaints on. And then there are some trees. We have a total of 96 left within the city. There's 38 on this list. The ones that are left are ones that we can do in-house from Public Works and with the assistance of Water and Light. So that's how we came to the list that we presented to you guys. And then the second part of this grant would be in the fall, we will plant trees back within city parks and on the tree border terrace area within the city of Columbus. And we are hoping to do that in-house, like I said, in this fall. That way then we don't have to worry about the summer heat, ruining the trees and that sort of thing. So, like I said, we're just hoping to go with the recommendation of K&B Lawn Care. They came in the most cost-effective, and they do have a arborist on staff. And they also are our city contractor, and we have had great success with them. And they do quality work, so.
Sorry, did anyone have any questions for Jenny while she's here with us?
And I guess on a side note, we do have to report every quarter to the urban forestry, just like on our progress of our grant. So we have to report, where we're at, how much, funding out of this grant we spent. So we just hosted a chainsaw class for our staff, because training is part of this grant as well, so.
Perfect. Awesome, thank you. All right, well, if there's nothing else, do we have a consensus to move this forward with the recommendation to go with K and B? Yeah. Okay, perfect.
All right.
Awesome, thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Jenny, for coming in. Oh, thank you. Perfect. Oh, and now I've got to get that back in order. All right. And next up is to review and consider the request for the Highway 89 encroachment agreement. Or, sorry, I'm skipping one because I renumbered things. All right, next up is the update on Enerpac Playground donation, and Amy Jo is here to talk to us about that.
You scared me for a minute. I thought I got bumped to number 17 there, but my heart skipped just a little bit, but I'm okay. Okay, good evening, everybody. Yeah, you're welcome. I just wanted to give a little exciting news. Enerpac is ready to begin their phase 2 of their playground donation to Warner Street Park. Back in April of 2020 at the COW, it was approved to move forward at the regular meeting, and previous council did approve the project, but unfortunately was set back due to COVID. The project is set to hopefully begin late summer, sometime early August of this year, with Enerpac. I know they're working with Lee Recreation. Come on up, Max. And he can fill in some details for you.
You have our show and tell item?
I sure do.
Awesome. Yeah,
Do a little Vanna White here.
thank you, Vanna.
This is what it looks like.
This is obviously not there yet, but this is the one that we've raised the funds for. We're ready to go ahead and order. We know that if we follow the normal protocol and we wait, this won't be actually available for the kids to play on until it gets cold and potentially snowy. So we're here just to affirm the previous discussions we've had with the council so that we can go ahead and order this now, because there's such a lead time. You understand there's extended lead times everywhere. So we're hoping by ordering now, we'll be able to get this with some summer left for the kids to play on. Any questions? All right.
You forgot to mention that the colors will be yellow, gray, and black, which are Enerpac colors. Come on, Max. Details. So there you go. So we're very excited. We'll let the community people know that live on Warner Street when the project's set to begin, so they can be aware with their children of the trucks and stuff that are coming through the area. Okay?
And at some point, of course, we'll come back with more details if there's any questions as to exact placement of this. We will need to coordinate with the city over the installation of pea gravel and mulch, obviously, so there's a little share there. But yeah, and then, of course, if we want to go back in our notes, there was discussion of some sort of shade down the road that the city wanted to do, but with note in deference to the security issues at the other parks requiring the money for the cameras, we understand, of course. So, thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just going to say that I live right by that little park, and it is just so delightful. And
It's used all the time, too.
yes, there are people down there, kids down there all the time, and it's really the only park in that part of town, isn't
Correct.
it?
I believe that's one of the reasons that Enerpac chose that location.
Yep, it's
So-
great. So I really
We're
appreciate
excited.
it. Thank you.
Awesome, we appreciate it a lot. And Trina, did you have something you wanted to add as well?
Oh, no, I was just really enjoying the visual. It looks wonderful. Wish we had a big and blown up for the screen for the viewing public.
That's awesome, thank you so much. I think we have a pretty clear direction on that, everybody. Awesome. So let's move on to the encroachment of Highway 89 agreement. For some reason, I was excited and tried getting to that early. I don't know.
All right. Thank you. So this is a sort of a minor issue that is kind of hanging out there for the Highway 89 project. As they got ready, the state, they got ready to do this project in the coming year. they did surveys and looked at all the properties, and they identified one property located at 130 Farnham Street that, for whatever reason, it wasn't previously known, but it actually lies within the right-of-way, the face of the building. It's a very minor encroachment. It's 0.4 feet, so I think that's about 5 inches or so. But once they identified it, their standard solution is, here's either a right-of-way permit or an encroachment agreement that says, you can stay there, we're not gonna make you move unless at some point we need you to move, and at that point you would need to move and take care of the building, remove it, restore the area. The owners were approached and they were kind of dissatisfied with the language that was the boilerplate for the state. Our city attorney negotiated a little bit with them and their attorney and came up with the encroachment agreement that you have in the packet. The primary change that I wanted to make sure everyone was comfortable with before we move it forward is that the language requiring the property owner to remove the building or pay cost related to removing it and restoring the right-of-way if it was destroyed, say it had a fire, vehicle hit it, something like that. With that language not in there, that's not automatically something that they're obligated to do. However, we also believe that it would be a matter of doing a special assessment at a future time if that became necessary. So this is something that has been reviewed by the city attorney and staff, and we feel comfortable with it if the council feels comfortable with that minor exposure.
Awesome. Thank you so much for elaborating on that for us, Kyle. Did anybody have any questions? Now, this is, I believe, it's the building right next to Kurth Brewery, the one, like the warehouse building, for so everybody understands what we're talking about. But any discussion or thoughts? Good to move forward? Awesome. All right, so up next we have review and consider the Plan Commission recommendation regarding the application of the ACS, RBHS, the LLC for a zoning map amendment for a lot of parcels. And Matt is here to talk to us all about that, so.
Sure.
Go ahead, Matt.
Really, the next three items on the agenda are related to the rezoning. So what you have before you is a application for a rezoning, and the rezoning will allow for the creation of 6 parcels for 6 lots for single-family purposes here in the city. So the first item is the rezoning to rezone a section of land on Lot 64 and Lot 65 of Community Trails from RD, Rural Development, to R3. So R3 is more commonly the older part of town, lots of 50, I think 55 feet is a lot minimum, lot width. So they are a little bit smaller, but nonetheless, these are conforming to our zoning code. So staff recommended that we approve the zoning map amendment, and it was passed at the Plan Commission. So, and I guess with that, the developer is here tonight if there are any questions specifically for the developer. But that is the zoning side of things. The CSM also is fairly simple. It's 2 4-lot land divisions, so it's the 3 lots that will be used for single-family homes, and then the remnant parcel is also mapped. So, and those were all approved at the Plan Commission level. There are some comments that we're working through that was a condition of the approval that will be on the final CSM that will be approved by council on June 8th. So with that, I guess I'm open for questions.
I didn't have any questions. I mean, it's awesome anytime we have an opportunity to build more homes in Columbus. We all know we desperately need them. Does anybody else have any questions, comments, concerns? Awesome. I think we have a good consensus to move that forward. Thank you so much, Matt.
Okay.
And, well, I guess you get to stay right there, don't you?
Yes.
So next up, we're going to review and consider the Plan Commission recommendation regarding the application from ACS RBHS LLC for the proposed certified survey map parcel number 11211-1505.65.
And this is just a continuation with what I was just talking about. So this is the CSM for the Lot 64 lot 64, I believe is the first one.
Or this one's 65, the last one was 64,
Okay.
right? Yeah,
It's
so
a-
we
but it's the
covered
s-
it
it's-
all.
It's the same concept.
Right.
We're, council will ultimately on June 8th will be approving the, it's a 4-lot subdivision, but the remnant parcel is staying with the current owner, and the developer is buying the 3 parcels that will be developed into single-family homes, so.
Perfect. So basically, items 8 through 10 are all
Correct.
related to each other. Does anybody have any concern moving those forward at all? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Matt.
Yep.
And, well, I suppose you're still up,
I'm
aren't you?
here for the next
You are
5
just
items. I had
going
half-
for it.
I had half the agenda tonight, sorry. Trying to keep it.
So next up is item number 11, review and consider the Plan Commission recommendation to adopt the Columbus 2040 Comprehensive Plan.
So you can kind of see some of the work over there. It's been on our website for quite some time. We had a public hearing on Thursday at Plan Commission. And much like previously, we have not received any comments to date on the Plan Commission, or on the comprehensive plan. So at this point, I do have a draft ordinance that I would like to move forward to the next council meeting for adoption. I know I've reviewed the comprehensive plan with, I believe I discussed it at the orientation for the new members, and I know I've talked with it at council for a while. This is one of those ongoing projects that's been out there for a while. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
And we have a copy of the ordinance in our packets. Does anybody have any questions or concerns about approving the ordinance to move forward to the next meeting? Perfect. We are just all agreeable today. I like this. This is rolling along. And guess who we have up again? It's
Yes.
Matt. So next up is to discuss a potential update to the Columbus Outdoor Recreation Plan to gain eligibility for stewardship and land and water conservation fund grants.
So in April, we approved a grant that I applied for to the Recreational Trails Program. And DNR, after I submitted the grant, called me up and asked me to submit the same grant to a different program. However, the deadline was technically May 1st, but they are willing to give us an extension if tonight we take some action to commit to updating the outdoor recreation plan. This would be something that normally, given the plans that we've had for my work schedule, I'd probably be a little apprehensive of, but with the comprehensive plan winding down, and the other thing is I have a Word version of the 2005 outdoor recreation plan, and quite frankly, it doesn't need that much work to update it. I probably will need some assistance from Rupert Milky to do the mapping, the stuff that I can't do in-house. So it would take some time. They're willing to give us an extension through the end of summer to complete the plan. So I guess I'm asking the council to move this forward to approve the update of the outdoor recreation plan. One thing to note is not only will it make us eligible or make us more competitive for this grant, it will make us more competitive for other grants if we go for DNR funding. And also in the comprehensive plan, one of the recommendations in there is to continually have a outdoor recreation plan, because it only benefits you to have it. It's a fairly simple plan to update every 5 years, and once you kind of have the framework, that you don't, I mean, other than maybe the Butterfly Trails Volunteer Park, you don't add too many or Enterpac Park too, for that matter. It's not like you add parks on a daily basis. So if you do it every 5 years, I think it's manageable. So.
Perfect.
Any questions?
No? Yeah, well, perfect. Yeah, we've gotten a chance to discuss that quite a bit in the past, so I think we are all in agreement to move forward with that as well. Let's see here. And Matt is up again for the Mayward flowering baskets.
Yes. So this is one that's been, this is the 3rd year in a row now, so this is, I guess, annual. Thankfully, this year we were able to partner again with the FFA. The first year we did it, we partnered with the FFA. They did a great job. Last year with the pandemic, they weren't certain about, going into their greenhouse and growing these. This year, thankfully, I've been able to work with Glenda again on this. And basically, she sent along an invoice for the The cost for the flowers this year, it's $155. It's well under the budget in the May Award Fund, which is, I think we have $500 allocated for 2021. To date, we have not approved any expenditures from that line item. So this is, kind of a nice project. I think when we did the downtown beautification committee, when we did that project, I think it's looked nice every year, and something I hope we can continue. So, any questions on this request?
All right, looks like, oh, Trina, go
Oh,
ahead.
no, not question. I'm just really glad to see that the flower baskets will
Yeah.
be in the works and at such a most reasonable
Yeah.
cost.
Yeah.
Excellent.
One thing I should also note that, and thank, is Kevin White from Country Sprayers. Once again, this is the third year in a row where he's donated a sprayer to Public Works, and Public Works does a great job watering them and keeping them looking nice throughout the year. So I am thankful that somebody like Kevin is there to help us with the sprayer, because it does help. Yeah. So,
Awesome. Oh, Paul, did you?
I'm just glad that the FFA is able to do it again.
yeah,
So
I agree.
that's, and the pictures, as per usual, it reminds me of summer, and it's really, really nice to see.
And just in case anybody's wondering, these will go up sometime before or after Memorial Day. We got to kind of coordinate the schedule. Usually, now that we're past the middle of May, now it's safe to put them up. You don't want to put them up when you could get a frost, because then it kind of defeats the purpose of everything. So you'll see them coming up here in the next couple of weeks. So, thank you.
Awesome, thank you. And with that, you get to sit down. Congratulations, you made it through. Next up, we have Joe Hammer here to review and consider a resolution authorizing the execution of the DNR Principal for Given Financial Assistance Agreement.
Alder Gray, I'd just like to let everyone know that I have to recuse myself from discussion and/or voting on this matter, as I'm a potential recipient.
Thank you, Sarah. And Joe, go ahead.
So back for the 2017, we had applied for a grant through the DNR, and it was like a 3-year grant. This time it's a annual grant that will be, so whatever monies don't get allocated, they go back into the general fund, and then we have to reapply for them. We were hoping to have the resolution in front of you sooner, but DNR decided to do a rewrite in February, which pushed everything back. So all the communities were wondering, okay, are we getting the money or not getting the money? So we are up for $145,000. We're hoping to get approximately 30 to 40 private side lead laterals replaced. So basically the resolution is there's no, the homeowners do not have to, it's free money for them. They do not have to reimburse. So we pay, Columbus Water and Light pays the contractor, and then we submit to the DNR to get reimbursed. And that's basically what the resolution is all about, is to forgive the grant or the loan, so.
That's awesome. I appreciate that a lot, and that'll make it even more viable for so many homeowners
Yeah.
to get this done.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's, there's not as many as what we thought were in town. It's, with our water meter change-out program, we've been noting what the material is coming in to the houses, and there was a lot less than what we anticipated, which is great.
Right.
But there's, there's some on this particular money we can't use for the utility side. That just comes out of ratepayer funds, so. But we'll be replacing our side also, so.
Perfect, thank you. Did anybody have any questions for Joe while he's here? No, I think that is awesome, and I can't imagine anyone not wanting to move that forward. Thank you so very much.
But surprisingly, there are people that are not responding.
Thank you. And then next up, Kyle was going to talk to us about the request to transfer assets, namely the copy machine, from the DPW to the fire department.
Yes, just a quick item. In March, the city council approved a new lease for an upgraded DPW copier. It had some additional functionality of like a larger scanning bed and printing capacity for the 11 by 17 sheets. It, was several years old, but it still is in workable condition. And, based on the length of time we've had it, it's ours now. And at about the time they were signing off to get the new one, the fire chief came in and said, I think our printer finally died. It's time we're gonna need to go find one and get a lease. And it was a matter of sending them down there and kind of following the policy to see if it would meet their needs. They don't have a very heavy printing load, so it seemed like a good solution. They were the only department that requested it officially, and according to the asset disposal policy, this request is being forwarded to the city council, and there is no monetary exchange proposed for this transfer. They're both general fund departments, so it would be general fund paying general fund. Yeah, so we just treat it as just moving the asset from one department to another.
Awesome, thank you so much. I mean, that can't really work out any better than that. Does anybody have any questions or? Perfect. I think we are all in agreement to make that happen. Thank you so much. I'm glad that was able to work. And then next up, Kyle is going to talk to us about the proposed part-time position for the Cable Commission.
Yes, this came out with the media coordinator, transitioning to a different role in another community. This was a sort of a last-minute ask by the Cable Commission. I think they've been entertaining this position for a while. It's essentially a part-time cable production specialist, someone who would help us with our meetings and taping and broadcasting, things like that. About 100 hours a year for around $12 an hour, and it comes completely out of the cable budget. And the cable budget, they have their own ability to set their own budgets. But when it comes to new positions, the city has kind of the say on whether or not those positions get established and are allowed to be incorporated. Being a part-time position, it is something where if it ends up not working out, it's not a full-time employee with benefits that you have to try to figure out, how you would transition them into a different role or what you would do. This is a very part-time position, and we're having current staff who are not video production people help out with the taping of the meetings. I think tonight we're having some technical difficulty where we're following the steps that worked 2 weeks ago, and it's not working as well tonight. We will get it ironed out. But if we move forward with this position, I think that would help have a more consistent person in the recording booth and help just to make the meetings a little smoother.
Right. Awesome. Thank you, Kyle. So if everyone caught that, basically the proceeds from the local cable would be paying for this position. So it's not a city expense, so to say. We just have to approve the position to be, and it is a very, very part-time position. So if in the future, because we all know cable is, there may not be as many funds in the future for the cable. If that happens, it's a very part-time position that could be discussed again at that point.
So I do have a question, and it kind of sounds to me like you're alluding to this. So then are we looking to have this part-time position replace the media, what was her title? Lisa's title?
Media coordinator?
Yeah. So are we looking to have this position replace the media coordinator then? Is that what you're looking to do?
No, so this came out of, as a recommendation from the Cable Commission, and this was already in their budget, that they wanted to have someone focused on media production and taping the meetings. Having someone like a media coordinator taping the meetings isn't always the best use of their time, because you're getting a more talented person with more capabilities. So this is really a separate issue. The issue of the media coordinator, the Cable Commission has to sort of review the position description and see if they want to tweak that. And then they have to review that with the city administrator. And then we'll come back to the committee of the whole at some point if there's any changes to see how the next iteration of that position might look.
Okay, because I went to look for the minutes that this would have been mentioned. I couldn't find anything. So I was just trying to understand what the intent was.
Right, definitely in addition to, not in place of. Paul?
At the risk of going off topic, are we, you said the Cable Commission, which I'm on, will address, like the next role for the Cable Commission or Cable Coordinator. I guess what I'm asking is, when do we have, how do we have a meeting without somebody in the chair? You know, like, I mean, who would chair the next meeting, and when might that be? It's sort of, a really weird order.
Yeah, so the chair obviously comes from within the Cable Commission, but the staff that will be attending, most likely, that will fall to me. So unfortunately, you'll have me trying to help through the aspects of the cable programming and everything, not my specialty, but, I think the big goal, one of our first priorities, I think, has to be ironing out whatever that next position will be, but yes, I would be staffing that.
Do you know when that next meeting might be?
It would depend on, I'm not sure if there's a regularly scheduled meeting coming up. I've been in contact with Andy Traxler. I think he's one of the existing members, but just to try to kind of coordinate. So there will be a meeting coming up in the near future.
Perfect. And did we have any other questions or comments about the position? Trina?
Oh, yeah, it sounds like a great idea to have a regular, essentially substitute person that could help out and know the equipment. I remember it being an issue off and on and trying to beg the school and seeing if they might have a spare person on occasion. So I think this would be a much better option to have our own regular.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I think we have a good consensus to move that forward for the next regular meeting. And that is all for tonight. So if there is no further discussion, I'd take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will second that motion.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any against? We stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone.